Today we're going to talk about this 74 911, and I'm Chuck Moreland from Elephant Racing. I'm here with Daniel Hallenbach, who did the installation of the suspension and the brakes on the car. This car got a very extensive upgrade. We did the entire suspension system. So the original design for the 911 was done back in the early 1960s, and at the time there were no radial tires. It was designed around bias ply tires. The idea of this ASP was to make that camber curve more aggressive. So it cambers in at roughly twice the rate of the stock rear suspension system, and it more closely maps what Porsche did on its later cars. With the ASP, we are better matching that more modern camber curve, and it's a much better fit for modern radial tires. This is the ASP system, right? Maybe can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so basically it separates the camber and the toe adjustments, but it also gives you two separate pivots. It allows you to achieve the camber value you want in a dynamic turn, but then it'll return to a lower value when driving straight.
And if you have a lot of negative static camber, that really messes with your tire wear too, because you're driving straight down the highway and the inside edges of the tires would otherwise wear out. And if you can reduce that static camber, you can even out tire wear, extend tire wear. And as Daniel points out, when the car is loaded up in a turn, it cambers in aggressively, and you still have a good contact patch and enhanced grip in the turns. And this car, this is a coilover conversion car. We can see those here in the back. Rear coilovers, so we've got, these are Vaughan shocks, level 3 I believe it is, which is a street and track type of a setup. Fully height adjustable, so they have threaded lower perches. These are equipped with main and helper springs, so there's a 2-spring configuration. This is the main here. Here's the helper spring. It's fully compressed right now. They come with different spring rates depending on how the car is going to be used, and they are defined in different levels, levels 1, 2, 3, and 4, where level is a combination of spring rate and also the valving, which is matched to the spring rate to give proper damping. So these are the front coilovers, of course, to match the rear, and they too are fully height adjustable with threaded bodies. And these are kind of unusual looking in that they've got, here's the normal steering knuckle, and here we see a second steering knuckle. So it puts the tie rod into a double shear configuration, which is very strong and very rigid and allows for adjustment for bump steer. So this tie rod can actually be positioned anywhere between these two steering knuckles, thereby changing the angle of that tie rod and affecting the bump steer curve. These spindles have been raised, and on this particular car they were raised 19 millimeters, which will actually fit underneath of a 15-inch wheel. So there's some interesting looking kit here. This is not at all stock, is it, Daniel?
No, this is the Gt3 suspension. Basically modernizes your front suspension characteristics. You end up getting adjustable caster here, and you'll get adjustable length here to be able to adjust the camber and track width.
So this is all aluminum. The original parts, of course, were made of steel. So there's a weight savings here, and it's heim jointed, where the stock suspension had rubber bushings on the control arms to allow for the movement of the control arms. And those heim joints deliver extremely precise positioning of all the pivot points. So they move very freely, more freely than a rubber bushing, and so they allow the shocks and the springs to do their job, but they position the suspension precisely. So even when the suspension is loaded up in a turn, they don't deflect. And that helps to make the car very predictable in terms of its handling characteristics. And it also replaces the front cross member as well, right? And while stock cross members on the later generation cars are aluminum, the early ones were steel. So if it was a steel cross member, this is a significant weight savings. So these are adjustable R style Swaybars, and this is part of the street and track personality of the car, in that you can tune it depending on how you want to use it. So you can stiffen the Swaybars up for a weekend at the track and run them relatively soft for regular driving on the street. They're also very useful for changing the understeer and oversteer characteristics of the car. And you can see the different positions here. It's drilled positions, and you move the drop link to affect the stiffness. Whereas you move to the longer positions, it becomes soft, and you move to the shorter positions, and it stiffens up the bar. It is a through body style sway bar, whereas this 74 car actually originally came with an underbody sway bar. So this also has the rear adjustable RSR style sway bar. This is just like the front with the 6-position drilled adjusters. And for the same benefits, it allows for understeer and oversteer characteristic tuning, as well as roll stiffness. This also has our welded on rear sway bar mounts. This is one of the areas of these cars that are vulnerable to cracking. We did the reinforcement kit on the through body here, right? It's an area that's prone to cracking, particularly if the sway bar is adjusted to a stiff position. And this helps to distribute that load and prevent any cracks from developing. So this car also has our spring plate reinforcement weld-in plates. A little difficult to see it because it's largely covered up here by the ASP kit. It's a weld-in doubling panel because, again, this is an area that is prone to cracks, particularly around, there's these 4 mounting bosses that secure the spring plate cover plate. The car also has the rear shock tower top reinforcements. This is another weld-in type reinforcement panel, as Daniel's pointing out, and you can see where those gussets that have some holes drilled in them, those are not stock, those are added and welded along the sides and top of the rear shock, and they couple the load into the rear box sections as well as the rear inner wheel housings. The ASP system, you can actually, if you're used to driving these cars, you can really feel the additional grip in the back. It just hooks up. And it's a result of the camber curve that the system provides. It's more aggressive than the stock camber curve, and it just keeps the tire, the contact patch, square with the road, and it just really makes the back end feel planted. Now these are just street tires on this car. If you put a .R or a track compound, even more so. But it really is confidence inspiring, and it feels really good. And the back end is just hooked up. And on these cars, the back end is the most important part. That's where the weight is. The GT3 Front Suspension System, it's all Heim jointed. So everything is held very precisely. There's no slop whatsoever. And the car is super responsive to any steering inputs. You can feel what's happening in the road. There's a lot of excellent feedback through the wheel. The driver feels really connected and in control. A lot of people have concerns that it's going to create a harshness or a lot of road vibration, and that isn't so. There are situations where Heim joints can make noise. They make clicking noise on their own. It doesn't happen in this system because we've used really high quality Heim joints, and we've weather sealed them. You know, it's race car stuff in terms of precision, but it actually delivers really good road quality too. You pair it with the right springs and the right shocks, you can really achieve a good ride quality. I'm certain that the owner is going to be extremely happy with the results.